welcome to Shelly's Studio, and today I'm doing a video for a video hop, calling it Oopsadaisy. That's a term that was coined a long time ago that means to help someone up. Used it with children, you know, if they'd fall, you go Oopsadaisy and help them up. So we thought we'd explore that term and use it in our video making and have it all about helping people, encouraging others to create art and art journaling, which is what I do anyway. There'll be a lot of other videos and I will put links below. But I know a lot of mine is just encouragement, I guess. A lot of people are like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what I want to do. And that was me when I started out doing this. I'm like, and I still have trouble with the subject a lot of the times. I've gotten to where I'm pretty good at creating some backgrounds, and that's where I start. Like this piece right here is, you know, if you don't know what to do first, just start by gluing scraps down. This is an old newspaper that actually is in Italian. I got something from a friend and it was wrapped in this newspaper, and I was like, it's about time I used it all up. So I just decided to glue it all down on this page, and that's where I'm starting with this. And I really, when I start, most of the time I really don't know where I'm going to end up. Like this time I haven't even thought of colors or a subject matter. I just wanted to start somewhere, and I think that's really kind of what you need to do. If you don't know what you want to do but you want to create something, start with that blank page and just glue something down. I think it's a good place to start. So I was just testing my tape. That's just to protect the wires there so that my pages move. Because my first journal, you know, starting out, I didn't even think about covering those up, and they got so much paint on them you can hardly turn the pages. So here, this is just some white paint, and I think it's a little off-white. I'll have a list of the products I use down below so that you have those if you want to try and recreate this in some fashion. So I wet that down, watered that down, painted it. I still felt like I couldn't see enough of the words, so I did go over that with a baby wipe just to lift it up a little bit. And here I'm deciding what colors I want to go with. So I decided to go with some blues and pinks, and I thought I'd start with the blues. And I'm looking at this stencil. This is a stencil I've had for a while. It's a little worn out, but I really kind of liked the yellow. So that inspired me a little bit to think about that yellow, which is a color I hadn't picked. You saw it flash by there. I just decided, okay, I'm grabbing the yellow because I think I want to do yellow. And here I am just stenciling. This is a makeup sponge. I have folded it in half and clipped it with a binder clip, and just so that I've got a round bottom, and it works really well. I was doing the makeup sponge without it for a long time, and you end up like completely coated in paint, which is okay. I mean, it comes off. It's acrylic paint. It's not that bad, but this really saves you from having to scrub so much. So I'm looking at it, I think I want some more, so we're going to add a little bit more of the darker color. And I'm just trying to get it like evenly distributed, but not perfect. We don't want perfect. We want it to be kind of random. There we go. So then I decided I wanted to put one of these countries on here, and I decided with Amsterdam. I'm not sure why exactly I picked Amsterdam, but I think I like the size of the word, and so I'm just going to stencil that on a few times in the pink color. And one thing that's good is you don't want things even like right in half or even numbers. Odd numbers are better. I'm not sure I can explain why, but it makes it feel like there's more movement. So now I've grabbed another stencil and thought I would play with the purple colors and the pink colors that I almost out of that one. And we're just going to stencil some more and just create layers. So that's how you start a background. Just creating a bunch of layers. Thinking about what colors you like, what colors you think go good together. It's good to have colors that blend well. So like the pink and the purple, they're close to each other on the color wheel, so they would just make a pinky purple or a purpley pink. You don't want to do things that are across from each other on the color wheel, or you'll get brown, and it's not usually a pretty brown. Alright, so I have a lot of travel magazines, so I dug through them and found those windmills and thought, well, I did Amsterdam, so might as well glue those on. And I'm no expert at gluing things on because I always get wrinkles, no matter how hard I try. And plus the newspaper underneath is giving it a little bit more texture. Makes it a little harder to get that smooth. So now I decided I needed something to go with Amsterdam. So I was actually looking up tulips in the dictionary, but I noticed that page was already gone. Just thought it would be fun to have the word tulips on there, but you know, I just decided we'd just do something different. Now I've got a couple of shades of yellow, and we're just gonna coat this. I'm not adding water to that paint. Dictionary paper is really thin and it really warps, so the craft paint is wet enough and that it will warp it. So now that it's dry, we're gonna sketch out just some simple tulips. You see those in Holland. Amsterdam's in Holland, right? Netherlands. I decided just gonna go around it with a permanent marker. This is actually a brush pen, but it is permanent so that after it's dry, if it gets wet, it's not gonna bleed. That's one thing you want to check, is just to make sure. And I took all my pens and I tested them to see if they would bleed so that I wouldn't end up with smeared pages. Now we're just going to cut these out and get them glued on. So I do edit a little bit because of time, trying to keep it to 10 minutes. I think it goes a little over, but it's the best I could do. So here you just see me glue one on because you get the idea. But wait a minute, I thought I cut out. There we go. Alright, so I decided they needed stems. I didn't want to go through the whole thing of doing it on a newspaper, so we're just going to paint that on directly. And some leaves. And it's really kind of translucent. You can see right through it. So I do give it a couple of coats so you don't see that because of time, but you get the idea. Hopefully you get the idea. So once it's dry, we're gonna try not to cover my windmills there. So once it's dry, we're gonna go around with that marker again and just give them some definite lines so you can see what's there as opposed to just a green mass. There we go. Fixing some of my tulip edges. Alright, I decided it was too simple. It needed more layers, so this is just some white paint and my dot stencil. It wasn't working quite right. I think I had too much paint on there. I do rub the paint onto my craft mat there just to make sure I don't have too much on there. If you get too much, it works its way underneath the stencil and you get globs, so gotta be careful there. Now the big reveal. Well, I hope you liked that. If you did like it, please hit like, feel free to share, comment, and don't forget to check the other videos in the description box below. And thanks for watching.